All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans for Tuesday, November 8th, 2022. My name is Bill Soroka. I'm the author of the Notary Business Building Challenge, 90 Days to More Clients, More Income, and More Confidence, as well as founder of the Notary Business Builder Advanced Notary Mastermind. I'm here with my lovely co-host, Laura Biewer. Laura, welcome. How's it going?
Thank you, Bill. It's going great. This is an exciting week because it's countdown to Notary Symposium and lots of little details being handled every day this week to make sure everything's ready for all of you who are attending. So I'm very excited about that. You should have your welcome boxes already if you ordered before this week. So that's happening, and I hope you're enjoying the goodies that we put in there for you. Also, Bill, let's see, I'm going to have an announcement about my coaching. Shall we wait a little longer when we have more people on the call for that?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Why
All
not?
right. If you don't know me, I'm Laura, and I'm Coach Me Laura.
Yeah, coachmelaura.com. Awesome. Yeah, so guys, we'll probably talk about this a little bit longer because I had to, I begged Laura to give us a little more time on the symposium tickets because I'm that passionate about the event that's coming up. The full day event is on Saturday. There's a fun kickoff event on Friday night. There's a margarita party in your own home on Saturday afterwards. But our keynote speaker is Hal Elrod, the author of The Miracle Morning. We've got other international speakers there. I'm going to be there. Jen Neitzel's going to be there. Robbie Samuels. Laura, who's our mastermind expert from Australia? Oh.
Liz Scully.
Liz Scully's going to be there.
And then Vanessa Terry.
And Vanessa Terry's going to be there as well. This is, if you're looking for that foundation, not even foundational, advanced mindset and preparedness and taking your business to the next level, this is something you don't want to miss. And I'm going to post the link in there. She created a special link that is only available if you're on the live call today. Yeah. If you're watching the replay, it's going to be too late. You won't be able to get tickets to this. So I'm going to post that in there. If you want a chance at this, this is seriously your last chance to get a seat to the symposium. And I posted that in the chat for you. So guys, welcome to TNT. This is a call for you to get all your questions asked. The best way to make it all work and be smooth is to use the raise hand feature in Zoom. If you don't know where to find that, it varies depending on your version and your device, but it's usually under reactions. And there's a little button that says raise hand. You can also type it into the chat and maybe people can guide you there as well. I'd like to see some of those hands go up now. So if you have a question about your business, about the industry, about where you'd like to pivot, about anything to do with your business, this is the time to ask. And then whenever we call on you, just tell us what state you're in. That really helps us out. And you can dive right into your question. All right, Mike Howard, it looks like you're going to be our first guest today. How's it going, Mike?
Going well. Thank you, Bill and Laura. I'm Mike from Arizona. And my question is, should I have done something differently? Yesterday, I had a RON signing that was scheduled for 9 p.m. last night. I confirmed with the borrower, and then about 6 o'clock, the signing company told me everything was canceled. And then I specifically asked, do you need me to reach out to the signer? They said no on the phone. They sent me an email. And then about 9:40 last night, the borrower is reaching out asking, when are we ready to start? So long story short, I double checked that it was canceled and the signer was okay, but should I have done anything differently?
What a great question. Laura, you want to jump in, offer your perspective first?
Yeah, although I don't do RON, whether it's RON or any other format, the idea is the same. And that is if something's canceled for me and I've already been in contact with that client, I own the client as far as I'm concerned. And so I don't ask them, should I reach out? I just say, I'll make sure that I close that off on my end. And I reach out regardless to let them know myself. You're probably going to get a call because this appointment's not going to be happening at this time. It may be with me, maybe with somebody else at that time.
Okay, great. Thank you.
This is why I love working with you, Laura, because we're on the same page. That's exactly how I would handle it too, Mike. One of the things that has helped me stand out as a notary with my clients. Like when I ask them why do you enjoy working with me? Taking ownership of the clients is one of the things they appreciate. Just knowing that I take responsibility for that. And that's just good business too, I think, in the long run. If you want to cultivate lifelong relationships, because that's your opportunity. As soon as you have that connection with them, I would keep that connection for sure and just communicate. Because in this industry, well, the mortgage industry, they're not known for great communication, right? So there's lots of people being dropped through the cracks. So if you can solve that problem, you'll have that customer for life.
Mhm. Yeah, I think there's good intention that they're going to take care of it, but there are so many things that are happening for them in those escrow offices all at the same time that it's so easy for it to drop. And even if the person gets a second call, that's okay, even better, more communication.
Thank you very much.
Yep, awesome. Great question. All right. I don't have any more hands up.
All right, in the building, I'm going to go ahead and make my announcement.
Yeah, let's do it.
To eat some time here while people are thinking about it. Now, all of you know that Coach Me Laura, I do laser coaching free in the mornings. You can book a 15-minute call with me and you can ask me whatever you want. A couple issues. One is that sometimes 15 minutes doesn't do it. I need more time really to help you than that. And the other thing is that there's been confusion about do I call you? Do you call me? And then we miss our opportunity. So I've reformatted that and it's now called Laura's Inner Circle. And you can still go to my website like you have before, use the Calendly. And now what it is, it's on Saturday morning from 8 to 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I have booked an hour for anybody to come on to ask questions. So if there's something very personal and private and you need to reach out to me privately, I understand. You can do that by text. But for the regular coaching calls that I've been handling, I'm going to be doing that once a week so that it's more condensed and organized for my purposes. There's a lot of you and one of me. And then the other thing is that every Saturday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, there'll be a Zoom call and you'll have the link. And then you can jump on for the whole call or just to have your question answered and I'll take care of you. So that's I'll put out an email as well, but that's my new news. Saturday mornings, Laura's Inner Circle.
Yeah, that's so great, Laura. I love how available you are. And when does that actually start?
Not this Saturday, but the next one, the 19th.
All right. And is there any place people can register for that right now?
Yeah, if you go to my website and it says book a call with Laura, just click on that and you'll see that I've limited the size of it because if there's 50 people, it's hard to take care of everybody. And so it'll go until it fills up and then it'll be the next Saturday.
Wonderful. I'm going to post that link in here too. It's on the resources tab at coachbelaura.com. You can click right on that. I just tested it. It works. So you can get yourself registered for that. Awesome. Christy Rudd, thank you so much for being here. I see you're in Washington as well. Welcome. How can we help?
Hi, thank you. I am starting to get reminders that I need to update my background check with signing services and also with Fidelity. And I'm curious, how far in advance do you guys usually do that? My background check expires January 5th, and I don't want any leg in that or, leeway in that. So just curious.
Yeah, Laura, what have you been hearing?
You bet. So your anniversary date is set by the background submission. So if your anniversary date now is January 5th, if you can tolerate the constant reminders, because it's good up and through then, I wouldn't do it till January 1, because otherwise, if you do it in December will now be your new anniversary date. And every year, then it just keeps inching up and you don't get quite the full year. You'll get 11 months, 10 months, it keeps moving. So that just happened to me. And I just went ahead and did it now. I waited until November so that I have a November anniversary date. So my recommendation is as long as you can stand it. Because your background check is good until that date.
Perfect advice. That's exactly what I needed to know.
Okay, you're welcome.
And the other thing I might recommend too, Christy, I already see some people, depending on your state and circumstances, the background checks might be taking longer than usual too. So if you want to be super safe, just check in with other Washington notaries that may have their finger on the pulse on how long that background check is taking. So
Yeah.
if it's taking 2 weeks or 3 weeks in Washington, then you might want to get a jump start that might impact your decision there.
Yeah, and I just did mine, as I said, Christy, and mine was 48 hours.
Nice.
That's
California's
what
usually the
last
longest.
time. Yeah, that's what it did last time I did it, but I just couldn't remember how much time I should give. But thank you guys both so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for being here. All right, awesome. Donna from San Francisco, welcome.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Welcome, welcome. I'm along with Christy. I think that, yeah. I just got this card. You're needed now more than ever. Your NSA background screening is expiring on 11/17/2022. Is that along the same lines of what you've been talking about? Like I just have to give my background, and if I go like around, 11/17 is coming up. So
Yeah, that's next week.
yeah, so if I do it like on Monday or Saturday, because I have a finger, and it's the live scan, correct? I forgot.
So I think we're talking about two different things.
Yeah,
Donna,
Yeah.
what we're talking about is the notary signing agent criminal background check that you get through the certification, which does not require the live scan fingerprinting. That was to become a notary public in California.
Okay,
right.
so
And that
why they're
live
saying,
scan, Donna, that live scan you took to become a notary is good for the entire commission. And then you have to do it again every time you renew every 4 years.
so what is this NSA background screening?
Are you a loan signing agent?
Yeah, I got my I haven't practiced it yet, but I did get my
Okay.
loan signing.
So if you're certified as a loan signing agent, which includes the background screen, every year we are supposed to update that. And you don't have to go to
Okay.
live scan, that's online.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you bet. Great question, Donna, and welcome.
Thank you.
You bet. Speaking of November 17th, Donna's criminal background check is expiring, but Janae Blatch in Florida is having a special event on Thursday, the 17th as well. Janae, are you available to jump on and tell us a little bit about what the fun you've got going on?
I am. I'm here. Can you hear me, Bill?
Yeah, sure can. Good to hear your voice
Hey,
again.
everyone. Yes, we are having a notary game night celebration. We're celebrating Notary Public Day all month. So we will be having a notary game night next Thursday, the 17th at 6 p.m. on Zoom. So similar to this setup, it's going to be very, very interactive, lots of networking, lots of prizes, and lots of fun with fellow notaries. It's not limited to just Florida notaries. It's all notaries because we're celebrating notaries all over the country. So come have some fun with us on Zoom.
Wonderful. Janae, is there a place where people can register for that event? And can you type the link in the chat?
Absolutely. I'll do that right now.
And then just for the replay purposes, for people listening at home that can't see the chat, where would they go?
They can go to, I'll say it right now. I just had to update the link,
Put you on the spot.
but I know, right on the spot. That's all good though. I have it here. It's a bit.ly link, so I made it a little bit easier. Okay, so I can't read it from there.
That's all right. Type it into
Let
the
me
chat
plug it in
when
the
you
link.
can.
I'll plug it in
Yeah.
the Zoom.
And
in
then
the chat.
I'll revisit it and announce.
Perfect.
All right,
Thanks,
wonderful.
Bill.
Yep, no problem, guys. I'll probably put that in my Instagram bio information as well as an event, so you can check it out there as well. All right, so I'm just gonna bring it up again, guys. This today, right this minute, like before this call is over, is about the last chance you've got to join us for Notary Symposium. That's coming up this Saturday. I talked Laura into opening up ticket sales for just a few more hours, so we can offer that to you on this call. So if you'd like to join us to see Hal Elrod, the author of The Miracle Morning, me, Laura, Robbie Samuels, Jen Neitzel, Liz Scully, all the way from down under, book your tickets now. That's at the link in the chat, which is coming up. All right, we are ready for the next question. Guys, I know the questions are out there.
And if you don't happen to have a question at the moment, would love to hear a win, would love to hear that you tried something and what happened. Sometimes it doesn't go as we expect, right? So we all get to learn, we don't all have to do it and find out for ourselves if somebody's willing to share.
Paula has her hand up. Paula, you want to unmute? Tell us what state you're in and what you'd like to share.
Hey, I'm in Arizona and I have a question for Laura. So if I buy, what is that? Just basic notary, that's like 127. That starts immediately, right? And it's a lifetime.
So what are you talking about purchasing that's basic? Is that an NNA package?
Yes.
Okay, so the NNA does
Just general notary that says, the power of attorney and all that.
Okay, so
Or
you're not
general notary.
talking about NNA. So I'm hearing the word basic and that describes something else.
Oh,
Are
okay.
you on Notary Coach? Laura Biewer Presents?
Yes, I'm on Notary Coach.
Okay, and is it Laura Biewer Presents that you're looking
Yes,
at?
yes.
That's 127?
Yes,
Okay.
and that covers what?
And so there's about 12 videos in there that include different kinds of specialties and some deep dives on the important documents like powers of attorney and healthcare directives, as well as non-notary specialties like apostille work. And the 127 covers lifetime access to all of those, plus anything new I happen to drop in, like I recently dropped in homeowners association elections. And you would always, once you buy it, you would go back through notarycoach.com and it would just be on your dashboard. Also, because you're on TNT today, if you use that discount code of TNT, you will get the TNT discount.
Okay,
So it won't be 127 for you. It's going to be less.
okay, I appreciate that, and I'll do that today.
All right, you're welcome. Thanks for asking.
And I got one other question. So is it for Arizona, right?
So it's not state specific. This is about the different kinds of general work, specialty work that any notary could do in any state, but within your state, you need to take a look at, are there laws or statutes that impact your ability to maximize your earnings from it? So for instance, in Arizona, you are stuck with mileage. So driving any distance to do hospitals or single document work is not advantageous for you in Arizona because of your statutes. However, trust work might be and loan signing work would be, because then you're being paid to do other activities, right?
Right,
And the trust training is in that.
Right, I keep track of my miles and then I just let put it on my taxes.
Right, but what I'm saying is that in your state, Paula, the law doesn't let you just charge a flat travel fee like I can in California. So I could charge $100 to go to a hospital. You can't do that.
Right, no, I can't.
Right, so that's what I'm saying is just because it's in there doesn't mean everything that's in there is doable in everybody's state, because certain states have statutes that just don't allow for it. So then you have to start getting creative. Well, what can I do that's not regulated by Secretary of State's office?
Right.
Or package work where I'm printing or organizing or doing other activities, then I could package it and sell it as a package rather than by the notarization.
There you go. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now I've got one question for Bill then. Are we allowed on general notary, or Laura can answer this too? Can I price out on my time? not the mileage, not the stamp. I know the stamp is $10 for a stamp, but the convenience of me coming to your house, my
No.
time, or no?
That's exactly what Laura was
Was saying,
articulating there. Yeah, because we are in Arizona, we're limited. And they're, to me, it's crystal clear. There are some people who have gotten pretty creative or interpret the law differently, but it's pretty clear that you get the federal employee reimbursable rate per mile round trip, and then a $10 per stamp notary fee, and then that's it. But in Arizona, like with loan signings and with the living trust presentations in the estate planning realm, where you package it, just like Laura was talking about, or bundle those
Right.
different services that you're doing, that's how you can create a very lucrative income stream in loan signings or in the living trust
Mhm.
presentations. Because it's
Okay.
outside those bounds, because you're gathering other signatures, you're presenting documents, you are going to be probably delivery of documents, of folders, maybe some printing and things like that as well.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for being here.
Paula.
All right, Randy Ventures, great to see you.
Thanks, Bill. I got a general question and a specific question, kind of related to each other. The general question is there a time limit to make a correction on a notarial certificate?
I'm sorry, say it again for me.
Is there a time limit to making a correction on a notarial certificate?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's a good question. I don't remember ever seeing a state specify it though. Laura, have you?
No, I haven't. But let's just think about practicalities of correcting it. So there are some limitations. First of all, the signer would need to still be alive to, approve such a, so that the documents, I would think that the document signer would still need to be alive in case it had to be checked, the document, because even though it's my section of the document, if they've passed away, I might be able to make a statement referring to it, like an affidavit referring to something that was incorrect. That was just an accident. But I think that would be a limitation. There could be other limitations based on the document itself. But really, that is beyond what I've read in any of the states I've done so far. So I think that's going to be a legal question, Randy. That's what it's going to come down to, because it could create a challenge.
All right, thank you. And then what came up was I did an apostille job yesterday. I went down to the Secretary of State's office and had it apostilled. And then when I delivered the document this morning, I was looking over it again. And I noticed that the other notary that filled out the work, I was just processing the apostille part of it, actually had a mistake, and they put their name in on the jurat instead of the signer's name.
Yes.
And then, so I was wondering, I'm like, you need to make a correction on this. And then the thought in my mind was, can they correct it after it's already been apostilled by the state? But I don't think that makes a difference.
Yeah, I don't think the apostille part makes a difference. But what I also will say is this is pretty close to the event. The other limitation might be they don't have that current commission anymore. They're in a new commission with a new number, and that might impact it. But it doesn't sound like that is an issue for this one. So you know what, that is really beyond what I know. I would really have to research that to see if there is any kind of limiting factors to correct a certificate after the fact. And Randy, you're in Washington?
Yes.
Washington. Well, I think that's a great question. That's how we push the envelope. So let me find out and get back to you guys on that. Randy, okay, time limit.
Right. And the other question would be like, if it was a recorded document, like a deed of trust that somehow did get recorded and then the mistake was caught, could a correction still be made at that point?
Yeah, then I think you've got another issue. I think they're going to make you do it over again because it was recorded and it has to be redone. But this isn't that situation. So time limit correction. Let me find out about that. Let me go to the notary gods and see what they say.
Thank you.
Laura, out of curiosity, have you found when a document gets apostilled, is the Secretary of State's office checking for errors?
They
like
do.
that?
Actually,
they
they
miss that
do,
one?
and usually they catch them.
Yeah.
And they will be rejected when they find them. And of course, what I have not heard is that there were any fines issued or, any punishment, but they've rejected the apostille until it was corrected. So I have seen that frequently.
Yeah, I hear those stories all the time. That's why I was a little surprised that the Secretary of State missed something so
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
unusual.
foundational. Yeah.
Mhm.
Phil Shannon, always a pleasure to see you on. Do you have audio? Phil Shannon looking for that mute button,
Yeah, he's probably on his phone.
probably on the beach somewhere. Phil, will come back to you. Teresa Saylor, thank you so much for being here.
Hi, everyone. I'm from Washington State, and I have a state will witness signing question. So there's usually signing lines, of course, right after the testator signs on a will, and the two witnesses will sign there potentially. But there's also that option of doing an affidavit of attestation where we notarize it. My question comes, where do they sign both areas if they decide to have it notarized? And if they do not sign the first set, what do we do with those blank lines?
They need to sign both, because the first time they sign, their job is a witness to the will, and that's what validates the will itself. And then they have to sign the second time for the notarization.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, because one of the samples I saw was also attesting to the signing as well. So it was confusing me a little bit. So just want
If the document's set up that way, then you should follow that and get the signatures for the attestation separately.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Great question.
it's like
Teresa.
Phil's
Thanks for being
back.
here. Yeah, Phil Shannon, looks like you're ready for us, huh?
I'm sorry, guys. I'm in the middle of kind of like, well, it's the day after Notary Day. So of course I'm incredibly busy, which is a good problem to have, but I'm never too busy to have a little presentation for my Zoom friends. So 5 minutes after the end of TNT, we're going to talk about how you can protect and grow your business. We're going to talk about the amazing services that we provide. If you're looking for a way to develop a little bit of a side hustle or just want a great service, please join me for a very short presentation, 20 to 25 minutes, where you'll get all the information about what we do, what Bill and Laura and so many others on this call have taken advantage of. I'm looking forward to speaking at the Notary Symposium. Can't wait for a Friday evening. It's going to be so much fun. I'll be doing that live from Texas, from Dallas, well, Frisco, Texas, actually. And then the next day I'll be harassing a bunch of Texans. So should be a good time will be had by all. But looking forward to getting to work with the great people that I've had the amazing opportunity to work with for every Notary Symposium that has happened in the past and all those that are going to happen in the future. So thanks so much, everybody. Take care. I'll put my number in the chat, but Bill's already done all the hard work.
Yeah, if you want to join Phil, I encourage you to do so. There's a Zoom link at the bottom of notarycoach.com/TNT. So you can find that Zoom link there. Sherry, thank you so much for being here. You want to unmute, tell everybody what state you're in and what you'd like to share.
I'm Sherry. I'm from California. This is more a question for Laura. How are you, Laura?
Fantastic. Thanks for asking.
Fantastic. So I have an interesting situation, and hopefully you guys can maybe help walk me through it. I did a notarization for somebody in California, obviously, but they were being recorded in South Carolina. He's trying to move there and get his barber's license. All 3 affidavits were jurats. Obviously, I have attached, sent it over. They have just contacted him again for the second time this morning and said, and I quote, "Our office is in receipt of a letter of explanation from your notary for why they had to attach supplemental documents such as California jurat. However, after consulting with the administrator of Barber Examiners Board, you are still required to have that notary stamp and seal on our documents provided. I don't know what
Well,
else,
Yeah.
what else to email to them, because I've already emailed them. I'm like, no, this is
Right.
California. We have to have California compliance certificates. It's a jurat. It's not an acknowledgement. I understand it's being submitted in South Carolina. I don't know what else to email and provide for him in order for this to go through. He asked me to come back and I told him I have no problem coming back and redoing it, but I'm going to be attaching the same exact jurat to the same exact documents.
Right. You might want to make a copy of the statute right out of the handbook to send with it and highlight the statute that requires a California notary to only use a California jurat in all circumstances, number one. Number two, there's a statute regarding the seal of office, which may only be placed with the certificate wording. It may not be applied to a document where we're not filling out any notarial language. What you can do, Sherry, do you have an embosser?
I do not.
Shoot. Well, I use an
Yeah.
embosser when I come into some of these problems, and I use the embosser on the page that I'm not notarizing.
Okay.
So they get some kind of seal image, but that would be my only backup plan. So copies of statutes, you are right.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
that
and
other,
I have the lady's email info, obviously, since I've emailed her from South Carolina. So I guess I will just reply again to the email that I have with copies of the statutes, because I really don't know what else they're going to accept
right.
on our end. I mean, it's California. It's not like it's a different state. So
Yeah, we always want to try to help our customer. And sometimes it's out of the customer's hands and it's out of my hands as the notary, because they're asking you to violate the law here in California. And that's just how it is.
right. Okay. Well, then that's what I'll do. I'll just make copies of the
Right.
handbook. So, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Sherry, I always try to think how to help the customer too. And if you have a direct contact, if remote online notarization is acceptable in South Carolina, you could find that out. You could say, would you accept an electronic? And even though you can't do it,
Right. Different notary.
the consumer can you can refer them to Cyberize It or your favorite remote online notary, if you have one in your network, that could handle this for them and solve the problem.
That's
Okay.
a great idea.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look into seeing if Ron is acceptable in South Carolina.
Right.
We have Amy Sites online. She owns Cyberize It. She founded it and she says it's not likely in South Carolina. So yeah, Amy, if you think of any other solutions, maybe post them in the chat for us. I love it when we all come together on answers like that. Thank you, Sherry.
Perfect.
Great question. Cynthia Jordan, great to see you on today.
Hello, Bill. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you? Did I see money blowing off your pin to your chest
You
just a
did.
second ago?
Yeah, people were paying me today. It's my birthday.
Hey.
All right. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I don't have a question. I heard y'all say something about wins. So I just have a win. My name is Cynthia and I'm out of North Richland Hills, Texas. Sorry. Okay, so so I had planned an event for National Notary Day to just kind of get together and hopefully a group of different notaries from all over so we could connect and just sit down and have a good time. And so it was yesterday and it was awesome. It was good. I had a nice little crowd. It was raining here, so I was a little concerned, but we got together, we introduced ourselves, we did our 3-second pitches and just had a good time. And notary prizes were given away and it was nice. So I just wanted to say that was a win for me because people were connected that didn't know each other. And so, yeah, it was a good thing. So that was a win for me.
Yeah, congratulations. That's huge.
Thank
Had you ever organized an event like that before?
No, that was my first time doing anything with notaries. Now I go to people's events. I try to go to people's events, but I had never done one myself. So it went well, and I'm glad that it did. So I'm excited and not hesitant to do it again. But it
I'm
was
glad to
nice.
hear it. Awesome. Well, good for you for stretching your comfort zone too, because I
Yeah.
know that can be uncomfortable. And thanks for doing it for the notary community. What a great way to celebrate.
Beautiful.
All right, John from California. How's it going, John?
Good, thank you, Bill. This is for Laura. She answered this question for me months ago, but this is pertaining to the question that was asked to speakers before about the company wants their jurat used. The NNA has the jurat stamp. If there's enough room on the bottom of that document, couldn't she use the jurat stamp? And then I had asked Laura if they want that document used and not something attached. Laura, I think you told me that you have to ask the requester if you can stamp on the back, and if that would be okay with them, if they don't want us to attach anything.
So if there's room on the signature page, two options. One is if there's room for but California's jurat stamp is still a pretty good size. You'd have to have almost a 2x4 size space to print that, and then still have room for the seal, but that is an option. I don't know what their signature page looks like, so maybe Sherry, there's room to do that, and that is a good idea. And if you don't have that stamp, this is a good reason why you want that stamp. The other option, if the stamp takes up too much room itself, is to hand print it. The jurat's not as bulky as the acknowledgement is. I've done them by hand to fit them in the space that they allowed me. So that could be another option. And you can, as long as it's neat and tidy, print out by hand that notary language. And then third option would be, do they accept it on the back of the document? Sometimes recorders' offices, though, don't, because the ink can bleed through to the front side and interfere with the language on the front. So I don't recommend that, but that could be a third option. So there you go. Thanks, John, for bringing that up.
Yeah, I love that. Laura, well, we have a little bit of a lull in hands. We've got significantly more people on the call right now. Let's talk about Laura's inner circle again.
Well, thanks, Bill. So the idea behind Laura's inner circle is for me to serve more every week than I can today. Right now, I handle about 10 calls a week. So 10 notaries is what I can do. And then there were issues about who contacted who, or sometimes that call comes through before yours, and then I'm on the phone. So I decided to organize it in a different way. And Laura's inner circle is going to be a Zoom call format instead of just a telephone format. And I will accommodate up to 25 in a call. And I will do the same thing, laser coaching that I do one by one on the phone, but I'll do it this way. And anybody else who happens to be on that call will get the advantage of hearing that coaching as well. It's still free, no difference there. You would go to my website just like you would before, book it on my Calendly, and it's already set up. My first one is going to be November 19th. And this will usually be every Saturday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. That way, once we're done, the rest of the weekend is ours. And that is going to replace the 15-minute ones. During the week, you guys know that I teach for the NNA. And so on those days, I couldn't even take any calls. So then nobody got served. So I was trying to find a way to serve as many of you as I could in a more organized fashion. And so I hope that you will join me in my new format where I can serve more of you more consistently.
Thank you so much, Laura.
You're welcome.
Yeah, awesome.
Whoever said that?
That was Andrea Madison.
Andrea, thank you.
All right. So by show of hands, is there anybody else that would like to come up? You can share wins, big ones, small ones, everything in between. Also, I'm really curious who's making courageous shifts in their business. Is there a new ideal customer that you've been exploring that you'd like to share about or you have questions about? I know estate planning, of course, has been a real natural progression in our industry, but there's been some really cool creative ones as well that others are coming up with. Is there anyone that would like to share on that? Amy Seitz, come on up.
She is creative.
Hi, sorry, I'm working from my phone at the moment. So mine's not a business enterprise, but I'm venturing into the world of speaking at the local schools and educating the schools about the idea of doing notarizations online, talking to students and telling them during their career day things, implementing what a notary is, and then educating them about the technology behind it. Not necessarily going to get anything from it other than awareness, but awareness has to start somewhere. And if they're enthused in talking about it, they're going to go home and they're going to talk to their parents. They're going to tell their parents what they learned. And, you know, maybe they don't become notaries, but eventually they might use an online notary. So I'm planting seeds.
I love that. That's exactly what that is, right? The next generation of notaries, the next generation of consumers. Amy, I just love your outside the box way of thinking. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. So Alicia, great to see you.
Hey everybody, from sunny Florida. I'm down here at a golf tournament this week. I'm volunteering for a golf tournament. And so, you know, when you go to a golf tournament, the first couple of days, they have a pro-am where they take photos with the pros after they play their rounds. So I'm in here charging my phone and I'm talking to the guy that's doing the photos. And I just mentioned that I've got the wedding chapel, but I don't have like a take photos. He said, "Oh, well, I'm the guy that does all the stuff. I can set you up with the whole program. I can set you up with the printers and everything. And, you know, it's really not expensive and blah, blah, blah." Nice. There you go. He said, once you put something in someone's hands, they're going to want it. I mean, I do take photos when I do my ceremonies and stuff, but this is just like another level. And of course, you know, I'm handing out my cards to every single person that I see. And, you know, do you ever need a notary? You find yourself out on tour, you find yourself traveling a lot, you know, is at home, work, you know, so I just continue to just ABS, always be selling.
I love it, Alicia. I love how you're turning a volunteer opportunity to help an organization also into a connected strategy as well.
Oh, yeah.
This is how business works, guys. Like meeting on the golf course, they say business skills happens on the golf course. It's so true.
It is. I was at the Pelican Golf Club down in Clearwater, Largo area. And I mean, this club is only about 3 years old. It's a new place. Before that, it was an older location and they just gutted it and came out. But I mean, this is the place where Tom Brady is a member, Condoleezza Rice is a member. This is like upper echelon people. And so, you know, when you get a chance, when little Celicia gets a chance to be plucked down amongst these people, take advantage of it. You know, that, you know, building authentic relationships, and it doesn't matter with who, you know, it doesn't matter. You know, these people need notaries too. And you got to remember that. And don't be afraid, you know, because they need notaries too. And just be your same genuine self, that you're going to give them great customer service. You're going to go out of your way. You're going to bend over backwards and do everything you can to get them taken care of. So, you know, I'm just really, you know, thrilled, you know, to be down here.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's huge. Jessica Clairville, thank you so much for being here. You want to unmute and tell us what you'd like to share?
Hi, I'm sorry for the noise in the background. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure can.
Okay, thank you guys for having me on. And I love everything that you guys do, and I love watching you, and you help me so much. I have a question on how to secure, when you get a phone call from Google Business, how to secure the client. So I recently got a phone call for a power of attorney for a property in India. So the gentleman, it was his mom, and she wanted to transfer over, I guess, the rights to her son. And he told me his brother was going back to India the next morning, or that later that night they were catching a flight. So it was kind of a rushed deal. So I told him that he needed to have 2 witnesses, and he read the paperwork to me and noticed he needed to have 2 witnesses. And so I'm in the state of New York, by the way, sorry. And he said he was gonna call his wife to get the paperwork and then find the 2 witnesses, but he never gave me a call back. So I sent him a message just to confirm, hey, I'm still available, whatever time you need me, just to confirm, secure your 2 witnesses and I can come out to you. And I was a little confused, and I wanted more clarification when he was going to call me back, because I wasn't sure if his mother was still in India. If that was the case, I couldn't do the paperwork. And I just wanted to know, like, what would you guys have done in that situation?
So is the question, to circle back to the way you started the question is how to lock in the customer and get the appointment. Is that your question, Jessica?
Yeah, so it's kind of a 2-part question. So one, yes, how to lock in the customer during that first initial call. And then the second is during the power of attorney for the property. I wasn't sure if the mother was in New York City or if she was still in India. And my gut assumption was that she wasn't in New York City. It was just the son was here and his brother was here. And if that was the case, I wouldn't have been able to do the power of attorney for the estate property. So I just wanted some clarification on that as well. So it's like a 2-part question.
Gotcha. Laura, initial thoughts?
You know what? I keep missing part of it that I think would help me answer the question, like right in the middle. So I don't have initial thoughts right now, Bill. I'm going to need you to, if you've got some, but I'm missing some pieces of information that's not giving me enough to answer.
I think that's exactly the challenge that Jessica ran into as well. There's some missing information. So Jessica, I'll start there with a standardized call format, meaning a way that you operate almost every single call, whether that's with the client intake form like Kim Flanagan designed with Laura's help. So every call you're asking certain questions that help get you the answer that you need, right? Oh, is mom actually physically present? That's going to be kind of a big deal. So that would be my first recommendation, is when you systemize your calls, it boosts your confidence and it helps avoid cloudy situations like this. You get all the information up front, so then you don't show up and mom's in India, right? Or have some unclarity or insecurity around the appointment in the first place. So that would be my first thing. And the second thing, the first question you asked, I love that you're even asking this question, because we pour so much time, energy, and resources into trying to make our phone ring, right? We go through the search engine optimization. We have to learn a whole other language with that, with the technology, Google business profile. We got to have websites. We're paying for advertising, maybe Google AdWords. And then what? Then how do you actually make a sale? Because make no mistake about it, guys, you're in business. You've got to make a sale. If you don't, your phone can ring all day. If you don't get a client from that, that's going to be a problem, right? You've got to find a way to systemize with those questions and then close the deal. So how do you, and Laura, I'm really curious, how do you, as you go through, how do you lock somebody in that says, yeah, this is my notary, this is who I'm working with?
It's going to sound counterintuitive to you, but I do a lot of what somebody might call a discovery call with the people who call me, where I try to understand what the situation is and who all the players are and what are the documents involved and where I might be utilized or not utilized, because many times I'm called for things that are beyond the scope of what I'm allowed to do, or a notary isn't required in the first place, or the person doesn't have ID, or whatever it is. There are going to be hoops to go through to make the process happen. And I want to not only know, is this going to be a good notarization if I show up? I want to help them understand what notarization process is about and why I need to know these things. I'm not being nosy. And how I can make it a more smooth process for them. And frankly, if they don't need mobile service, which is my service in particular, I offer up shipping centers, or I offer up where they can go to get it without it. And so there's it's a consultation really that I go through. And I will tell you, by the time I get done, and if I'm not available, I'll offer up my colleagues that are in the area to say, I have another colleague in my area. She could get to you before me. Let me give you her number. And what I find is, because I'm more interested in making sure they get what they need done and accomplished, rather than worried about, am I going to be the one? Am I going to have the sale myself? What happens is, well, I don't want to go to anybody else. I'll wait for you. I don't want to use somebody else. Nobody else answered any of my questions. Nobody else helped me at all. You're the first person who took the time to listen to me, to help me figure out what my next steps were, or to offer additional service beyond me, meaning maybe a paralegal or legal document assistant or an attorney, whatever it is that they were searching for. And I think that because I take the time to listen to the whole picture, and identify where I could help them, where I might have a resource that can help them. And even if my service isn't what's needed, allow for the potential that I'm going to send them to somebody else who I know as well, right? The shipping center, so that it doesn't feel like a sales call. What it feels like, I'm just there to fix their problems. I'm just there to help make it work for them. And if I'm part of that solution beyond the call, fantastic. And if I'm not, that's perfectly fine. And what I find is, sometimes the more I say I'm not available, the more they're like, I'll wait for you. I don't care. So for me, that's how it works for me. By working in consultation or discovery mode, that's how I lock in those customers.
Yeah, I love that, Laura, because it's not just a Laura thing, guys. This is how business works. If you've ever worked in a call center and you have the flow of the call, asking probing questions, all of that, this is exactly what you can do. We don't have to do it on some large scale, but just like Laura said, she's moving from order taker to solution maker, right? She is demonstrating her expertise by asking the right questions, providing guidance to what they might need, and then to ask for the sale. Like, that's one of the things that we always forget, right? Is, will that work for you? Will 9 p.m. work for you? And then I love what Amy said in there, and Amy might be in a little different situation as a Ron notary, but I know others do it too. They ask for the credit card. Somebody gives you their credit card. Whether you choose to charge it up front or not is not the question. But once you give somebody your credit card, that feels like there's a relationship happening there, and that can lock you in as well. I haven't done that personally, but very similar to what Laura does. Ask the probing questions, establish yourself as the expert, and move from order taker. That's the biggest step you can take, is if you, because then you're just a commodity. You're just just another body, a stamp. We are more than just a stamp. This work matters. This document is going to make a difference depending on the importance of it down the road. It's important that they get an expert. If you believe in this business, if you believe that you are the person who has committed to the training, developing the expertise, the personality to really do a good job for them, then it's almost a disservice not to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah. And Bill, somebody asked a question about the intake form, and that's, is it Allies, Notary Allies?
Yep, notaryallies.com. I'll put a link in there.
And she has two different kinds. She has one that is for loan signings, and she has a different one that is for the general work. So she has two different kinds. She's actually working on a third one for a particular specialty. And I've got to tell you, I did it before with my own, but how she organized it just made it so much easier for me that I started using hers.
And it's in color, and it's in high grade paper, and it's just enjoyable to work with. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I love that Christy says, we're always chicken to ask for the sale because we're afraid of being pushy. But guess what? I mean, that is so true. I still struggle with it too. But they called you. It's not like you're cold calling, right? They need a service, and you have to believe in you. You have to believe in yourself. You are the best person for the job. And if you don't lock them in, they might get a notary who doesn't care about them or isn't trained or might mess something up. They need you. Your job is to convince them of that. Or like Laura said, one of your experts in your notary. Laura doesn't just refer out to willy-nilly notaries. She's got a core group that are vetted and she knows she can count on.
Yeah, and if you don't think you're the right person, because it sounds too complicated, you know, two things. One, take notes and get back to them about the details. Sometimes I don't know the information. I need to check around to see what can happen. And, you know, the other thing is, especially if you're newer, if you don't have that confidence level, well, then get it. You get it with training. You get it when you expose yourself to documents and how they work, because you can apply that knowledge to other kinds of documents or other kinds of situation. So if you're not feeling confident enough to think you're the right person, then do something about that.
Yeah, I love it. There's one other thing I find kind of interesting too. And when I look back at experiences that stood out and shifted things for me, it's because I took control of the communication.
Yeah.
I don't like to sit and wait for my phone to ring. That gives me anxiety, right? Especially if I've gone through the effort, I've made a connection with somebody, and I just sit and wait for them to call or call me back. So I would say, like in your situation, Sherry, we'll use this this family from India working on this real estate deal or the power of attorney, whatever it might be. You could say back to them, I know you've got some things to work out. You got to confirm all this information. I'll tell you what, I will call you back at 8 p.m. to see where you're at and see what the next step might be for me or for us together or whatever it might be. And then put that on your calendar and call them back. That level of service doesn't exist in our community. It will stand out if you take the effort to call them, because even me, like if I have to call I had to call my pest control to cancel an appointment later this week because I'm traveling. But it's been on my calendar for 2 weeks. I just didn't want to pick up the phone to call. I was psychically begging them to call me so I could just pick up the phone rather than have to call out. So it's an extra level of service, and it's a way of taking responsibility for your results. It will blow you away how often you catch people at the right time when you make the communication. Janae Blatch, thank you so much. Oh yeah, you bet. Thanks, Sherry.
That was great advice. Thank you so much.
Jessica. Sorry, Jen,
Yes.
I was using the wrong name, Jessica. Thank you. Janae, great to see you back. Welcome.
Yes, I thought of a question that I had when I was did my notary table talk last week, and there was a question that stumped me that I had never come across, and it was a signer that signed a VC. Have you had that happen? VC, it's a Latin term. When I looked it up, it's V coactus, and it means basically it's a symbol or a sign that they're signing under duress. And so the notary was asking me, how do you handle a situation like that? I know that we can't sign. If I have any inclination that signer is not signing under their own free will, I don't notarize it. But I have never been in a situation where someone signed VC. And does that invalidate the document?
Ooh, great question.
It was a good one. So I was like, I got to bring that to the TNT.
Laura, what do you think?
Well, one, I haven't seen that myself, so I wouldn't know what it meant, although I would have asked, what is that? What does that mean? Because of course, I'm always careful about people's titles that they might be sticking on their document. So that if they said, well, it indicates that, I don't want to really sign this. Okay, well, I need to know if you want to sign it, that you're signing of your own free will. You may not want to sign it because it's something you don't want to do. That's different than you're being coerced to sign it. And if that's the case, I have to stop the proceeding right here. You know, sometimes, you know, older people I've worked with and like, I don't want to do this, but you know what? They have to move out of their house and they don't want to move out of their house, but it has to happen, right? That's different than somebody's coercing them to do something that is inappropriate for them.
What an interesting situation.
Yeah, it really was.
We have time for one more question. Janae, thank you so much for bringing that up. And Janae, if you'd like to post the link again for your event on the 17th, I think this will be a great time for that. Amy Seitz is going to come up right now. Guys, remember, this is the absolute last time right now. If you want to join us for Notary Symposium, you have to use the link in the chat right now to book that seat, because this is it. The next, I think we probably have 2 more hours and then it's over.
It's done.
Amy Seitz, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys so much for letting me come up. I actually know the notary who had encountered that VC, and we got a response. Well, she got a response from the Secretary of State's office and said, if you believe that the person is signing unwillingly, then you cannot move forward with the transaction. Her concern was, obviously, if the person is uncomfortable enough not to tell me, but to do it in code, how safe am I to say I'm uncomfortable moving forward? You know, what does my personal safety look like in that manner? And the Secretary of State had no opinion on that. So, but it is an old Latin term. It symbolizes that you're not willing, but it does not invalidate the document. Just because you were unwilling, you still signed it. So just because you did that does not mean the document contents are not legally pertaining to you. Does that make sense? So it was interesting.
That is very good. And that's exactly what the thought that went through my mind too. Is that some sort of code, like a cry for help, that they're in trouble? So if there were other people at the table, you might have to think, all right, well, maybe we'll proceed and then I'll hang on to the document if you're leaving with it, like at a loan signing or something. Or you could come up with some sort of excuse to get out of there or something. That's really interesting.
That's exactly what I said, Bill.
Yeah.
If they were in danger, if they felt in danger and you kind of got that code, now that I know what it is, right? And I could be in danger as well. If I felt that I would hold off, you know, and let them sign. I may not notarize it in front of them or may not stamp it, and I would notify the hiring party. But I would, or hold on to those documents and not turn it in and let someone know so that I would be safe.
Yeah. Great. Thanks for bringing that situation up. Amy, thank you for chiming in. Laura, thank you so much for being here. And we're 2 minutes past the hour, guys. Thank you so much for joining us and growing yourself and your business on a Tuesday. We will not be here next week. Laura and I will be in an all-day photo shoot and meeting after the Notary Symposium and out in Modesto. So we'll be dark next week, but we'll pick back up again the following week. Thank you so much. See you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.
Bye.